Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. Let's meet your hosts, Chris Angel and Michael Maher.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of the Referrals Podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with Michael Maher in the suite, in the manager's suite. What's up, Michael?
Sweet.
Actually,
Sweet.
Speaking of sweet, we're actually talking about sweet today as it relates to Sunday night rituals. Last episode, we were picking up on the savers and the rituals we can do throughout the week in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode, we're going into Sunday night.
Yeah.
Fun night. Sunday night, fun night. So what do we do Sunday night, Michael? Walk me through
Yeah. So, what we've discovered and this has been kind of a accumulation of habits over 20 years and learning from the best of the best. We've discovered that really your morning starts the night before, right? And we've all discovered that, right? You go to bed at 2 a.m., then you've got to get up at 7 a.m. and all of a sudden you're dreary eyed and it just stinks, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those where a great morning starts with a great night's sleep, in our opinion, starts with a great ritual, right? And so what we're going to talk about the next two episodes are sweet and dreams. And sweet dreams are acronyms for the Sunday night ritual and the nightly ritual. And when you do these, you will have more sweet dreams. You will have sweeter dreams. But more importantly, when you're awake, you're going to achieve your dreams. You're going to be able to realize your dreams. And so that's kind of the segue into the very first ritual that I developed. And that was the Sunday night ritual. So I started traveling a lot, even up to like 15 years ago and then 10 years ago. So I it was one of those where, and it's so funny as I'm thinking of Melissa Crockett right now, which is so amazing. I talk about a person from the past. She and I taught at Star Power universities together.
Yeah. Wow.
And we're talking Howard Brenton, Star Power, way back. And so I was a teacher for Bayer University, Advanced Bayer University, and Leadership University. Well, at one of the leadership universities, for some reason, I got a mega suite. I got like the nicest room in the whole hotel, right?
Yeah.
So if you have the nicest room in the whole hotel and you're doing Leadership University, you know what you do?
Parties at
you
your
throw
place.
A cocktail reception. Exactly. You throw a party. So I had a party in my suite, and there were sweet, right? You talk about sweet, right? Go from sweet to sweet. That's what we're going to do. And so we're having a party, things like that. And Melissa, who headed the cadre, she was the leader of the five of us. She basically was the MC and kept us under control and things like that. And made sure we stayed on time and kept pace and suggested improvements. And then so she said, "Hey, you got a second?" And it was like, all right. So we stepped into the bathroom, and she's like going through a couple of things she really wanted to make sure I reinforced the next day. They were things I had mentioned that same day, but she wanted me she had a bunch of people having questions. So she said, "Hey, I want," and then, so we're talking, and it's access to my bedroom there. And on my bedroom, on the bed, just so happened to be my Microsoft Excel spreadsheet folded, and it was opened up on the bed where it literally had Monday's outfit, Tuesday's outfit, Wednesday's outfit, Thursday's outfit for the week, right? Including my travel outfit for traveling back. And it was the list, right? Shoes, socks, what I needed. Yeah. Well, it was really my packing list for Sherry, right? So it's like, hey, here's what I'm going to wear. It just makes sense that you would go through and not pack too much, because out of all the people in the world who would pack too much, it would be me, because I have a thought of I'd rather have it and not need it than, need it and not have it.
Right.
So so I just started, condensing things and making sure that I was the most efficient possible. And this actually comes about, is so funny, is like how everything intertwined with the 7L system is, the power notes, which we covered on a previous episode, and we're going to go in more depth on a future episode. But it's funny how that I was really disorganized. I recognized organized people through the 7 steps through power notes.
Yep.
Hundreds of power notes, became super organized, which led to this Excel spreadsheet, right? So she sees it and she's totally making fun of me, right? I mean, she's like, what is that?
Yeah.
And she was making fun of me because, you know what's so funny, Chris, is we wear almost the same shirt every day at these events, right? So it's not like you have to pick a shirt or, it's like it's a shirt that says Star Power,
Right.
But, it's got your belt, you got your shoes, you got your different, your pants, you got
accessorize.
pants,
You accessorize.
you got accessorize, right?
Yeah.
So it was just funny thinking of her because it was so funny. And that, we're talking, that's probably 12 to 15 years ago. One of the things we always talk about, when did you start implementing this ritual? When did you start doing it? It was like a long time ago,
Yeah.
And it even goes back to my teacher days when I was a high school math teacher, where you can't just show up at school on Monday and make stuff up, right? The kids will eat you alive, especially high school kids. So, I would review my entire plan for the week, right? And make sure that we had enough, whatever it was, materials for the week, right? So it's kind of like this culmination becomes the Sunday night ritual. The other thing that I found really helpful from a business standpoint is that we have millions, maybe not millions, we have lots of decisions that we have to make during the week, right? Yeah. And there is something called decision fatigue. The more decisions you make, the more likely you are to make a bad decision.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that my father always said, nothing good happens after midnight, Michael, was not just that it's dark, right? It's late, but it's because people are making poorer decisions the later in the day, right? So they're drinking more than they would. They're driving faster than they would. They're running stoplights that they wouldn't, right? They're making worse decisions. You don't want to be around when people are making bad decisions. You want to be around when people are making good decisions. So, so to prevent decision fatigue, what really intelligent people do, not, I didn't do it until I discovered what really intelligent people do, is they do what's called pre-decision, right? They decide before they get into the situation, right? So this pre-decision is we're going to make all these decisions when we're comfortable and when we're not stressed and we're not rushed. And so hence the Sunday night ritual. So at about 7 to 8 p.m., my entire family, actually mostly me and Sherry, but Max does participate in this with a piece that I'll show you in a little bit. But so it's SWEET. So the Sunday night ritual is the acronym SWEET. The first thing that we're going to look at is our schedule, right? Straight from teaching, right? Straight from, honestly, any good mom, any good dad. Yeah. You watch a single mom or a single dad work. Now, here's the thing. Married mom, married dad, super, right? Yep. But you watch a single mom or single dad work, they are amazing at organization, right? They probably don't give themselves enough credit because they're like, oh, I forgot this, or I forgot the shorts for his football or whatever. But it's like you watch them work. It's super, super organized. And guess what they're doing on Sunday night? They're looking at the schedule. Yeah, where I found that to be so powerful is it gave me a chance to visualize the best outcome of each of those meetings. It allowed me also to really look where the openings were and look where I was not maximizing my time. So it was great to take a instead of being knee deep in it, digging nose at the grindstone, I could take a 10,000 foot look over the schedule and make some decisions, make some suggested. Like there was one time I had a networking stack on a Thursday. It was 11:30 to 1, 1 to 2. And then I had a 2 to 3 that was open. And then I had 3 to 4. Well, interestingly enough, my 1 to 2 was with a developer. And I called a guy named Jeff and said, hey, Jeff, can you meet at 2 o'clock? Well, Jeff's a builder, right? So it's interesting. I just did this on a Sunday night, literally just emailed him, and he said he could make 2 o'clock. Well, it just so happened that the 11:31 was fantastic with an ambassador. Got to talk to the developer a little bit. The developer was like, this is great. You know, I like what I'm hearing. But they had several other agents who they thought would be better. In fact, they even thought about hiring their own sales crew. And then 2 o'clock comes around, and it's this builder guy I know, and he's talking to the developer. And so, you know, he's all about Michael Maher and how great I am at selling new homes. Yeah. And he goes, if you choose Michael, I'll buy 12 lots in your subdivision. Oh.
Awesome.
Well, bam!
Wham! Yeah.
Like win for the Sunday night ritual, right? Yeah. And then 3 o'clock, like I had who was a client. It's so funny how these things work. Is that person who met Jeff the builder, they met him for 2 minutes, but here's how the universe works. That client or that friend became a client. Chris, I'm not kidding, bought in that subdivision that the developer was developing. Guess who built their house?
Wow, the builder.
Jeff.
That's awesome.
Jeff was the one they actually now listen, I didn't force them into building with Jeff, right? Jeff builds phenomenal homes, but it just so happened that it was like, you know, so it's, you know, how about, okay, so what happens here, right? 11:30 to 1, you know how you create your own opportunities in the universe, right? 11:30 to 1, raving fan, talk to the developer, he leaves, right? He leaves, and I'm there for an hour drinking tea or waiting for my 3 o'clock to get there, right? And I wait for my 3 o'clock. I have a good meeting. I have to tell you, that friend would have become a client no matter what, right? Probably, maybe, would have bought in that subdivision no matter what, right? But was there some magic in the air that made Jeff the builder? They felt comfortable with Jeff the builder because they met him, right? So he got a client, I got a client, the developer got a client, and I got 59 listings. Right?
And this too can happen for you listening. If you just do your sweet Sunday night ritual, this too is exactly what will happen every week, every time, every stack.
Isn't it great? We can't promise. Hey, here's something that could happen. You look at your schedule and then none of it happens. So that could also happen. That could also happen. Which has happened to me, right? Very rarely does that happen, but sometimes it does happen.
Working by referral is not some fairy tale world. It's real. I've seen it. And you can too. Invest in yourself by learning how to run your business by referral at Michael's upcoming live event. It will be a day filled with hands-on, how-to, low to no-cost strategies that you can implement in your business right away. Learn how to run a business by referral that not only feeds your family, but feeds your soul. Go to www.gengenevents.com today. That's www.gengenevents.com.
I want to ask a question on. Can I ask you a question on that?
So on schedule?
Oh yeah, on the Sunday night ritual. So what are you looking for when you look at your schedule of the week? Are you just getting a present to the calendar, or are you actually looking for something?
Yeah. So I am looking. Oh, I can't do a week on my phone. I can do a month, or I can do today, which is fine. But all I'm just going through my schedule. Yeah. I'm just Monday, Tuesday, and there were certain days when it made a lot of sense to wear shorts and a Maher team shirt, right? Polo, right? Yep. There were other days it's like, ooh, you know what? I've got a series of appointments. I'm going to go with, my black pants, black shirt, and a sport coat, right? Yep. So it just, and the other thing too is when you're dressed really nicely and you've got some time blocked off, let's say you got white space between 11 and noon. Well, you can find something to do because you're dressed nicely, right? Whereas on the days that you're going to be in shorts and a polo, maybe you visit those people who don't care what you look like, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
Yep. Got
You
it.
know, I happen to like polos with logos. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for are spaces. I'm looking just like what makes sense. There's occasional where it's like, well, I've got a meeting on Tuesday with this person, and I've got a meeting like at the same place on Friday with this person. I wonder if my Tuesday will move to Friday.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. Or let's say I did a lot of my buyer's consultations in the evening, and it's like, all right, Tuesday is open. Wednesday, I've got a buyer's consultation. Thursday, I've got a buyer's consultation. So I need to find somebody for Tuesday. I need to find a buyer for Tuesday night, because I didn't like open listing appointments or buyer consultations. And I did a lot of listing appointments either at lunch or on the weekends.
Got it.
So Saturdays. I didn't work a lot on Sunday, but I did a lot on Saturdays.
I love it.
Saturday was my money-making day. So I just look at that, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is looking at your Saturdays, and it's like Saturday is already full. That's not good, right? So I wonder if these buyers would go look during lunch. And what I've discovered is that if you ask a buyer to go look at a couple of homes during lunch, they will go and look at a couple of homes during lunch.
Yeah.
So if they're serious.
Got it.
So
that takes us through the
schedule. But that's just schedule.
Yeah,
We haven't even got into the other stuff,
week,
right? So So the
Yeah.
W is for weather, right? So I'm going to look at the weather, and this is something I've kind of done for 3 or 4 years. I kind of did it occasionally, and then I made it a regular part of my schedule. Especially started looking where this became. It was great in the beginning when I was in Kansas City. But when it really became important was when I was traveling during the week. And for 3 years, I traveled every week. So I would look at the weather of where I'm going, right? You don't want to be wearing like super dark suits in Phoenix, Arizona in July. That would affect what you're going to wear, right? It would affect a lot of things. Trust me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at the weather. And here's what's it's just like, life is better because of the Sunday night ritual. Life is better. Life is happier. So another quick example about looking at the weather and the benefit I got from it is that, please don't judge me. We were on vacation in the Bahamas, actually in Aruba, not in the Bahamas. So in Aruba, and so we were at a resort, and the resort has activities, and then it has adventures that you can go on, right? So there's fishing. There's Sea-Doo, right? So, jet skis. There is, and then there's some like inside events that are really cool, and so on and so forth. So what's amazing about this is that, so they had the fishing tour at 4 o'clock every afternoon. They had jet skis like at 2 o'clock every afternoon, and so so I blocked off what we were gonna do, and Chris, tons of white space, right? It's vacation.
Right.
So most of it was unplanned, but there were these things that weren't going to move for us. So let's make some decisions on them.
Yeah.
So the jet ski day, I noticed that it said that the weather, it's going to rain in the afternoon. You can either do jet skis at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or you can do it at 11 o'clock in the morning. So
morning.
Guess what I picked?
Yeah. Morning. Come on.
11 o'clock in the morning. So this is how life's better. So we are wheeling and dealing on the jet. I mean, phenomenal. Max is behind me, right? And he's never been on a jet ski. And he's, 8 years old. He's like, this is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he thought it was awesome already. Then we saw a couple sharks, right? That was awesome, right? Now we're on a Sea-Doo, so it's pretty safe. And then we saw some dolphins, and we saw some manatees, or these big things. So it was like, and the guide was going, you know what? We usually drive around and jet ski all the time, never see anything, right? We never see any animals, but there's a front coming in and they're feeding, right? So they're active, they're out and about, and so on and so forth. And one other cool thing is, anyway, all right. So we drove around. So I will tell you the one thing is we stop in the middle of this bay area, and it's like, what are we doing, right? There's like 8 of us.
Right.
And so the guide all of a sudden jumps off his jet ski and dives into the water, right? And it's like, that's kind of odd behavior. And he was odd anyway, just throwing that out there. And so he was gone, like underwater.
Your guy.
And I'm thinking, I'm going like 30 seconds is a long time to wait, like minute. What is he doing? You know, I'm like, did he die? Is it?
Right.
So we're all pulling up closer, you know, and literally it's like 90 seconds. It's probably a minute, but it felt like a long time. He comes up. He's got an enormous starfish, live, huge, real.
Wow.
Just starfish, humongous. And he goes, come here. And we come over and we all get to touch the starfish, and Max gets to touch the starfish. And it's like the little suctions, right?
Yeah.
So Max is like, oh my God, he's like laughing, pulling it away. And so it's this phenomenal time, Chris.
Wow.
And so we get back, we have lunch, and there's some sprinkles that start about 1:00, and then it's pouring rain at about 2:00. We're watching at 2:00. The people walk down to the jet skis who had signed up for the 2:00 time. And I just looked at my wife and I just go, yeah, right? She hates it when I do that.
Yeah.
And it happens so rarely that you would think it wouldn't bother her at all.
Yeah. You gotta celebrate those moments.
Yeah. So here's so the rest of it, right? Yeah. So then, so we decided not to fish that afternoon because we were already jet skiing, and we thought, you know what, we'll do this inside stuff. We'll play games. And then Max did a dance contest that night, and for future reference, he won the resort dance contest. He was 8 years old. He had moves like Jagger, and he looked like Jackson, right? So he was working it. And then so it rained quite a bit on Wednesday, actually. And then Thursday comes along, and it's the most beautiful day ever. 4:00, we go fishing, right? And we reel in a barracuda, right? Big giant fish. Yeah. Max is thrilled. I'm satisfied. We paid for this. This is awesome, right? Yeah. But the guy's like, well, we got another hour. Let's see what happens, right? Chris, we pull in a 4-foot king mackerel.
What?
Right? So the biggest fish I've ever caught up to that point. Wow. And so that was so it was awesome and beautiful whole day. We both got great suntans and sun, took some pictures with our stuff on, but it was beautiful. And then Friday morning it rained, right? So we really had like 4 or 5 pockets of sunshine, and we took full advantage of them, right? And I believe it was because we looked at the weather and made our plans according to the weather, right? Yeah. And guess what? Most people don't do that on vacation. They're very reactive, which is okay, right? But I believe our vacation was not a little bit better, not even 10 times better. I think it was 100 times better because of a little bit of planning, right?
Yep. So good.
So then we get into the E, right? So the first thing is the exercise plan, right? So you look at your week and you look at exercise. So for me right now, Max practices on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then he has games on Saturday for football. So I know that I'm going to walk for at least 55 minutes Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday because I walk when he's practicing, right? I suck at standing there and watching and being a dad. I've got to be moving. So I've got my, okay, so what does that mean? All right, so I'm going to wear shorts. I'm going to wear a T-shirt. I need to make sure I take my Halo earbuds, right? Yep. And I need to make sure my phone is charged. And I may buy a new song, right? Just for that week, just to have a little bit of variety to the walk.
Yep.
And I need to make sure my shoe, I did it on Monday. It was really muddy. So my shoes were dirty. So I washed them, for Tuesday. Right. So I need to wash it. So it took some time to do that.
Yeah.
So the exercise plan, what you do then is you're looking at, okay, I may have to pack a duffel bag on Monday, right? Go to work. And then I know I'm going to be walking, right? Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, no exercise scheduled in Wednesday. So, I'm not going to worry about the duffel bag or whatever. But the nice thing is I could pack all 3 outfits in the same duffel bag, and be good for the week, right?
Yep.
So you look at your exercise plan. The other thing too is if somebody's a serious bodybuilder or freak or whatever it may be, you know, that they're going twice a day, or they're doing this already. They're probably already planning out their chest day, their back day. And when I was really serious into bodybuilding and lifting during college and right after, I would be writing down my weights in my journal, my weightlifting journal, which is around the corner here.
Nice.
But so I would know, like, you know, I'm doing 185 for 10. I'm doing 225 for 10. I'm doing 235 for 10. And then I'm going to do my pyramid, which will be 8, 8, 6, 6, 6, or it'll be 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, or whatever it may be for that week. And I would have the weights there. So guess what? Am I trying to figure it out at the gym?
Right.
No, I'm there, you know, I don't have to think. I can just lift. And so, you know, it's just look at it Sunday night, and you make sure you're not overtraining, and you make sure that you're dressed appropriate. You got, you know, if you're doing deadlift, you might need your straps, right? So you have your straps. So that's the exercise plan. And make sure you have exercise planned in your week. If the suite forces you to think about exercise, and even if you don't do it, then that's a good start, right? If it forces you to, like, take your tennis shoes out of the closet, wipe the dust off of them, and put them by the front door, then we win, right? That's a win for you, right? Good start. The next E is something that has become more valuable to me as I've gotten older and become more health conscious, is the eating plan, right? The next one is E. I'm going to look at what I eat for the week. Right now, I'm in the middle of a keto diet, right? So very strict diet, and I've already lost like almost 10 pounds, right? And by the way, that's 5 days.
Wow.
Right.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's like every meal is planned. You know, I mean, it's like what's beautiful about it is there's variety within it, but it's fairly constrictive. There's no bad. Now, this is my language, not the keto diet language. I believe that the keto diet is no bads, which is no bread or pasta, no alcohol, no dairy, and no sugar, right? So, you know, take the bads out of your life and you'll have more good. All right. That's another acronym that they didn't have to pay for right there.
Nice. You're on fire. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm on fire. So FIRE is an acronym, but I'll talk about that one later.
Okay.
Then the T, right? And the T is tie it all together, right? So tie it all together. So what I mean by that is take action on your schedule, which is lay your outfits out, right? And sometimes when I'm doing pictures, and they can see this within some of the groups I'm in, is like my son's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday outfits are all laid out with the appropriate shoes, right? In my closet right now, you're going to see Saturday and Sunday in the closet. And then here's the thing is you wake up, you go through your morning ritual. You don't even have to think about what you're wearing. It's right there. You throw and you know it's appropriate for the day, right? Yeah. What you don't want to do is be throwing on, shorts and a polo and then realize that you're meeting with a potential client for $1 million, subdivision or whatever it may be. Yeah. So, or going to a networking event, right? I have to tell you, we had to fire an agent who decided to show up at a networking event in, shorts and a polo, and it was totally not appropriate. He was the only one in shorts in the entire place. And guess what? I mean, if he had the Sunday night ritual, he would have kept the job, probably made hundreds of thousands a year for us. So, so to tie it all together is all right. So with your schedule, you're going to match your outfits to the schedule. Right. With the weather, you're going to match your outfits to the weather. Right. And if there's rain in the forecast, just make sure the umbrella is in your car. Yep. Some people have the umbrella in the car all the time, but if you're not that person, then make sure it's there. And then the exercise plan, right? Just make sure you've got your clothes in a duffel bag or they're ready. And then with the eating plan, for me, if you looked in my refrigerator right now, it would have these Tupperware, turkey burger with broccoli, turkey burger with green bean, right?
Meal prep,
and meal prep, right? So all the meals are prepped and we're ready to go. And you might think, well, that's boring or whatever. No, there's still the variety. I mean, crap happens during a week. Sure. Variety happens during a week, right? I mean, it's like, if you're doing a networking stack, you're going to be eating out on Thursday, right? So variety is going to happen. And you might think, oh my gosh, this is OCD or too. It takes us at this point 15 to 30 minutes to do our Sunday night ritual because we're so used to it. We've done it for so long. Right. And it's just like, look at the schedule, look at the weather, look at the exercise plan, which is in many cases the same. Yeah. And look at the eating for the week. Yeah. And the nice thing about looking at the eating for the week is that whoever buys the groceries can plan accordingly. Right. And they even have recipe machines on the internet where it's like, hey, we're thinking about I have to tell you, nice. We had stuffed green peppers on what day was that? Tuesday night for dinner, like stuffed green peppers, but they were totally keto diet safe that Sherry had made. And they were phenomenal. Talk about variety. They were spicy, they were good, they were tasty, and stuffed green pepper, So it was one of those where if maybe we didn't have the Sunday night ritual, she couldn't have been as adventurous with the meal, right? She wouldn't have had the ingredients, right? It takes a lot to do the stuffed green pepper. Well, I guess you could stuff a green pepper with anything, but there were ingredients she wanted to make sure that were in there. Right. So anyway, so that's the sweet. So schedule, weather, exercise plan, eating plan, and then tie it all together by taking action and get your outfits lined up, get your meals lined up. And guess what? You don't have to make all those decisions during the week. You look good. You're eating good. You're dressed, appropriate for whatever it is. And you're going to rock the week.
The biggest thing I hear in this is, I think for a lot of people, there's what they're surrounded with as they go out into their week is uncertainty, right? Just uncertainty. And they don't even know what they're uncertain about, but there's just this feeling, this sense. And I think what I love about the Sunday night ritual is you're heading into your week with all this planning to create certainty. And when you show up with certainty, like just who you are is different, who you're being is different in all your interactions. And I love this for that reason.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, certainty is very powerful, right?
Yeah.
There are people who are great salesmen who sell crappy stuff, but they speak from a sense of certainty.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And there are great products that are sold poorly or sell poorly because the salesperson does not speak with certainty, right?
Yeah.
So clarity is power.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So where does that power come from? It comes from the certainty. It comes from faith, right? There's a big difference between hope and faith. I do believe they are both good, solid emotions, hope and faith. They're both good beliefs. I believe that we need hope. But where heaven and earth will move is faith, right? What's the difference between hope and faith? Right? I mean, certainty. What do you think?
Certainty.
It is. It's confidence in taking the next step. Yeah. Hope waits. Faith acts. And you know what gets rewarded in our world? It is not waiting. It is acting.
So good. I love that. Well, what a great way to wrap up this episode. I know that you guys there's another download for everybody at referralspodcast.com for this episode.
They're going to love this. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's an infographic of Sweet, right?
That's right. So it's a beautiful picture that also explains the Sweet acronym and the Sunday night ritual. Yep. It's something that, and a lot of these things we talk about from a business perspective, but Sweet has been fantastic for my son, right? He's got his outfits laid out. I'm hoping that, drums up a good habit so that when he's in college or whatever he does, it translates to that. And he doesn't have to worry about what he's wearing and he looks good and he walk, So the Sweet infographic is something for you, but it's also something to share with your entire family. And this whole 4 podcast segment that we're focusing on now is really about FLY, which is first love yourself. right? First, love yourself. Even if your kids, even if your spouse does not want to do the Sunday night ritual, do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself, right? And fly, right? First, love yourself. All of this fits under love with the 7L system, right? 7L system is about love, generosity, and appreciation.
Right.
So this is all under love, and then it's fly is the first thing we need to really cover, and that is first love yourself, and then you've got these rituals that are self rituals that lead to success, which is sweet. Schedule, weather, eating, exercise plan, eating plan, and tie it all together.
That is sweet. That is sweet. I love it.
Started with a sweet, ended with a sweet.
Yes, that's sweet. And if you guys want to get the sweet infographic, go to referralspodcast.com. I love that you guys are posting those up for everybody. In the next episode, we're actually going to go into the nightly ritual. So during the week, what do we do at night during the week? And we're going to cover that so we can have sweet dreams, right?
That's right.
All right, Michael, great episode today. Until next time, sweet dreams.
Amen.